Hi everybody, Bets Golden here. Today I want to make a wedding card, a card for a wedding. And I am going to use this beautiful background stamp. It is by Brutus Monroe and it's called Heart Lace. And since it is a wedding, I am going to go with white and gold on this card. So I'm going to use some beautiful gilded gold embossing powder along with the clear embossing ink, and then I'm going to pick a couple images from these downloads that I have, these digital downloads I have from Calico Collage. There's 9 to choose from. It's off of one of the digital sheets, and I believe they're for ATCs or tags, but we're going to use them on a card, and these are what they look like. This is one of them. This one's really pretty. Love the coloring on that. I also like her too. I think I'm going to pick her because she matches the lace theme I have in her, up in her bodice and down her arms. So we're going to use her. A really pretty cake. A blank one for whatever sentiment purposes. You could even use this for something other than a wedding. Another cake. That's pretty. Another beautiful bride. And then rings and rings. I'm going to use this. What's cool about this, and it just dawned on me, I was actually online today, and I'm going to use these too, by the way. But what's cool about these is you have this could be a man's ring and this could be just women's rings. So this could be a man and a woman. But if in today's age, you have a couple different types of weddings that you could be going to. It could be for a Mr. and a Miss, a Mr. and a Mr., or a Mrs. and a Mrs. So I think that this is pretty freaking cool because you can customize your card just by using these rings, and you could stamp a sentiment up here, Mr. and Mr. or Mrs. and Mrs. And so that's really neat because I don't think you can find same-sex marriage cards at the grocery store yet. I don't think we've quite come to that point yet. So we're not catching up in our stores, so at least we can make it. So that's just an option for you. I might do that next month. From what I understand, Brutus Monroe is going to be doing a release in which it is a wedding stamp set. I haven't seen it, but the Mr. and Mrs. is not connected, so you can personalize it. And I might go ahead and just make one just because. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually I am going to adhere my little cards to some beautiful glittery cardstock. I'm going to use some liquid adhesive because glitter is so hard to adhere to, and I haven't used this in a while, so I got to kind of pound it down. I love my tape runner, but I don't like my tape runner for this because it just won't hold. So we're just going to do some Beacon 3-in-1 on the back of this and just take care of it. I'm not inking the edges or anything on these. I normally don't do a plain white and metallic card, but since this is for a wedding and I'm getting the gold off of the band in this picture, this image, so I'm gonna just go with that. I pulled some other things from my stash as well to throw in on this that I thought might be pretty. I have no idea if I'm going to use them all, but we will see. And if I was really smart, I would have pulled my Misty out and not cut down my card yet, so I could have done my background stamp on my card base with my Misty, because sometimes when I'm working with such a large stamp, it doesn't always stamp the image right away. Okay, so I'm gonna let this dry a little bit, not that it really needs to, and then I'm gonna go ahead and stamp my card base. And normally I would have a card stock and then, you know, have a nice little frame on the outside with a mat. But for this particular card, I'm just going to use the entire card as my background. And you will see that my stamp is so huge, it does not fit on my block. And that's okay, we will make it work. That's my motto in life, make it work. So I'm gonna put this here. And this doesn't have to be perfectly straight by any means. I hit my camera, oopsie. Do want to make sure. Okay, at least it will cover my card. So I just have to worry about inking up this center right here. That is what I have to do. I have my trusty little tray ready to get my embossing powder on it. Ready to go. So let me juice this up. I like this embossing powder. I mean, this embossing ink, the powder is so beautiful. There's like no wax in it, so it is absolutely fantastic. And I'm just really trying to get it nice and juiced up. It would be kind of cool if it doesn't all stamp. That would be a really fun image as well. If it doesn't all stamp. So I'm not too concerned if there's spots. It'll just we'll make it work. Okay. Want to get a good coverage here. There are the CPR stampers, and they do this, and then there are the massagers. I like to work with my hands, so I give it a nice, good rub down. Okay. I think that is pretty good. And then let me go ahead, set this aside, get this covered right now in my embossing powder. And when you emboss, just be really, really generous with it, because it does not matter. You're going to put it all back into the jar anyway. I may dump this whole jar on here to make sure I got good coverage. Yep. Looks like I'm going to dump the whole jar on it. That's okay. I want good coverage. Better safe than sorry, right? All right. Let me pick this up and tap it off. Ooh, I think I got some pretty good coverage on that. Look at that. Okay, I'm going to go heat set it. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have it heat set. Look how pretty that is. It was that set right there. Now I can light it. Look how beautiful that is. Love it. Okay, so before I go any further, I'm going to just dump the rest of my gold back in here. Okay, so from here, let's go ahead and assemble our card. I want to put, I think I want to do it like so. And again, I'm going to use the 3-in-1. I could use my tape runner on this, but I'll just use a 3-in-1. Plus, if I have to move it around any, it's easier to move around this than it is, you know, the tape runner. So I'm going to put this down here. And I'm really putting that off to the corner because it is going to overlap like so. And then I'm going to do something right there. I pulled out some metal hearts that I have. I have a big old thing of pearls, but I only pulled out the one that looked well with the cluster that I'm doing. I have this pretty little flower, but then I found this little flower, and I kind of like that little flower better. Not sure yet, but thinking something like this. That heart looks a little bit too, doesn't look nice enough for a wedding though. I need a bigger heart. So maybe something like that. Here are my pearls. The other pearl that I have is really, really large. And that might be okay. And then do some sequins off from there. So I think I like that. I'm going to go with that large pearl. Let me put my heart down first. That is nice though. I could maybe put that on the bottom. I don't like it with the pearl though, and I like this one with the pearl, so we're gonna leave that off. Plus this just looks so casual. I need a little bit something more refined, you know? Weddings, this is a kind of a dressy card. So I want to make sure we keep it nice and dressy. Put our pearl on. My finger stuck to it. That's awesome. Oh, long live getting fingers dirty. Okay, and then I'm going to take some sequin, and I think I just want to do some gold sequin going down like so. And then two up here. Now, since this is a lumpy card, it's not something I would put in the mail. And if I did put it in the mail, I would put it with a larger envelope than the one that came with the card that I initially made it for. Okay, so let's go ahead and do 1, 2, and 3. I don't want it to look super, super perfect. I kind of want it to look like it's a little bit accidental, you know, if that makes sense. No fun if it's perfect. Kind of want it to look like I just threw everything on the card and it's a pretty mess. 1 and 2. All right, so there is the beautiful wedding card made with just some images and a background stamp and embossing powder, ready to rock and roll. So anyway, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave it in the comments. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, slap that like button if you liked it. And if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so. I try to do a YouTube video at least once or twice a week, and I have a lot of fun stuff coming in to my craft room that I would love to share with you. Until next time, bye!